How would you like to have funds available when you need them most? Not get a lump sum that you're expected to pay back in this allotted amount of time and you're scurrying, not sure if that's going to help your cash flow and if you actually need all of that. Hi, welcome into this David Allen Capital Business Line of Credit Review, where I, Michael from Viral Funding Solutions, will be thoroughly showing you what this program is all about. It's a part of the David Allen Capital revenue-based funding program. If you've heard of them, maybe you have already. I've done other reviews on this program that cover everything extensively that I'll leave down below in the description. So make sure to view those if you want to see it as a whole. They, for a long time, offered just like business capital up to 2 million. You can use for anything through a hybrid merchant cash advance type of way, business loan / cash advance. They also have an up to 25,000 same day instant approval program, customer financing, payment processing, healthcare, telecom, and the list goes on and on. You can also use things for equipment financing. So I'll leave that down below so you can view those individual videos and get to learn more about them. But in this one, we're going to go through one of their more recent releases, which is the business line of credit. And if you're unsure of what that is, it's basically where instead of getting a lump sum, let's say you get approved for, and the amounts here you can get approved for from 5,000 to 100,000. Let's say you get approved for 100,000, but you don't want to use it up all at once. You have something coming up in the new season or within the next few days, weeks, months, however you see it. And this can go for any type of business. You're like, oh, I only want to take out 10,000 of that 100,000. So I'm going to take 10K out and I'm going to use it for whatever it is I need. I need some new equipment. I need some of my equipment maybe got stolen. I hear it all the time from many different business owners. There's so many different scenarios. Maybe some repairs. Maybe you need to use it for marketing and advertising. You have inventory, all these things to put together. And you know you don't want to get a lump sum. So you only pay interest on that 10K you use. There's usually a withdrawal fee every time you take out a little bit. So maybe it's 10K today and then you pay it all off and then you want to take out more. Maybe it's 30K out of that 100K. So you take out 30K this time, you only pay interest on that 30K, and it's usually set for this like 6, 9, or 12-month period. Usually it's 12 months. It can be a little less than if you get working capital short terms, which are maybe sometimes 4 to 6 or even 4 to 24 months. So it's kind of like you have to see if you're going to need it all up at once or you're going to just need it in a certain amount of time. It just depends on your situation. But these are very flexible and a much more flexible solution than getting working capital, this whole lump sum at once. You can use again for anything. And you choose how you want to use it, when you want to withdraw. Right? So if you need a 10K now and then in 2 weeks you needed another 20K, you can take that out, but you add it on top of that 10K plus the interest. And there is that withdrawal fee that always comes with these business lines of credits. And that's what you would expect. And I have some notes here that I'm going to go over that I wrote for myself so I can make sure I cover it all. And then I also have this review post that I'll leave down below in the description, the most updated one, so you can view more about it. And if in any case you have any questions and you want to get help, then submit this funding form. It'll be the fastest way to get a hold of me. I'll get to see your details and I'll open up some options or an option for you. What's the best solution? I'll show you how it all works, break down the numbers for you, some scenarios. A lot of people go through this and they find it's one of the fastest and best ways to do it. Outside of continuously going through like these online marketplaces like Lendio or Lending Tree, Lending Force. I'm kidding. I don't think there's such a thing. Maybe there will be one in the future. Who knows? Or maybe I don't know about it. But the thing with those is they don't always give you the full picture. And if you want a full picture from somebody who's been doing this as a small business owner myself, and I've been in your shoes, I know the feeling. You get called all the time, and I'm not going to do that. Heckled and try to get out, and they still find a way. And they don't give you enough information. So I'll help you with all that. So down here, like I said, these are from 5,000 to 100,000. It's simple and fast. You get to receive a decision in 1 to 2 business days, requiring only a soft credit pull as low as a 550 FICO score. So similar to the working capital with David Allen Capital, in other companies, usually it's a soft pull. One thing I do want to say, I know if you guys are like, why is his voice a bit different? If you've been watching me for an extended amount of time, even if you haven't, I'm coming down with a cold and a cough, a runny nose, congestion. So please bear with me. I do appreciate you still for being here. And maybe you didn't spend all the time. And you're like, I came back to watch it because I couldn't take it anymore from this guy's voice. He sounds like Tony Robbins and with this congestion. No, I'm kidding. Probably not that to that extent. But simple and fast, you get to fuel your business's growth and expansion. Like I said, again, these business lines of credit give you a lot of flexibility, and you only can take out as much as what you get approved for. And once you pay it off, it's called a revolving line. So once you pay off, let's say, for example, that 10,000, you put that back into the account, it goes back into your original 100K. It's not just at 90K, right? You pay off that 10K, it goes back to 100K, and you're paying off of that like initial principal really, and then just the interest and then the withdrawal fees. And I'll get into some of that stuff, the technicality and some of those numbers in a bit. So we specialize in small business and want to secure you a LOC, for short, line of credit, to help fuel your business. Better fee structure, simple to understand, draw fees and balance fees with zero penalties and big savings for early payoff. So if you decide, if you get 54 weeks, right, in a year, and we're going to do some quick numbers in a moment, then you can, you get 10,000 is what you draw out plus the interest. Maybe we do 12,000. Maybe it's a payment for 52 weeks divided by 12,000 divided by those 52 weeks. Maybe around 280 or so. Not just throwing a number out there, it could be more or less. And so you only pay 280 for those weeks that you have it, that you need that 10,000. And let's say you don't want to use the rest of that 10,000, you can feel free to pay it all off. Maybe you have another 9,700 remaining. You're like, well, I just want to pay it all off. You don't have to extend it out to those 54 weeks. See, that's the amazing thing about it. So better fee structure. How does a revolving business line of credit work? A small business line of credit, LOC for short, allows you to draw funds against it at your discretion up to your credit limit, because it is revolving as you pay it back. Remember, as I said, that 10K example, pay it off, put it back into the account, original 100,000 back. Those funds become available again for you to use, which means you get to continue to be happy that this money replenishes back into the account. You're not like going less and less. And this also means the more consistent you are at it, the more you can ask for an increase. So maybe you needed more than 100K. Maybe you always needed more than 100K, but you didn't get approved for everything you wanted. Or you're thinking now, okay, I would like to have more. Then let's do that. And the amazing thing about this, excuse me, almost coughed there, is like we don't take a business line of credit in a merchant cash advance or another type of small business loan. They're separate. They're really not as congruent as you might think they are. So the positions in an MCA don't translate to a line of credit. So we can give you a line of credit and we can give you a merchant cash advance. And the positions thing wouldn't matter, as opposed to, let's say you get a merchant cash advance or some type of a hybrid with Untitled Capital, which I strongly recommend you do. If you're looking for a lump sum, then I strongly recommend going with Untitled Capital. They're generally 50% less expensive. And you want to learn more about how to get a lump sum, then look down below. There will be a video on it and a place where you can go and apply. Doesn't hurt your credit score, again, no collateral, and we don't operate on interest rates. It's total payback. So that's also a very great solution. I'm not saying it isn't. It depends on your needs, depends on what you're looking for. And a lump sum is also a great thing to get. Now, this goes here, revolving. As you pay it back, those funds become available again for you to use. You only pay interest on the funds you have taken out, as I said, right? So it can depend, interest rates can vary depending on the lender. So we can help you find the right program through DAC with the right lender or lenders and say, okay, well, this is going to be the best solution for you. And let's say we have a 1%, right? And that's bringing it a little low. But at 1% of that 10,000, you can see how much you would probably end up paying in that interest, right, on top of what you take out. So it might be an extra $100 for that per month for the amount of time you have, right? So receive approval up to 100K. You now have money that reserved and available when you need it, and you only pay interest on the funds that you take out. Take funds out as you need. You can now draw all or portions of money as needed up to the approval amount. You have up to 1 year to repay any draws you take out. So this gives you more than enough time. Most of us think we need more than a year, and it depends, again, on your situation. Most of the times you see up to a year in this type of industry. Maybe you do see it a little bit more extended, but I mean, a year is really standard. If you needed more time, maybe a business capital, maybe a cash advance. So look for those options down below. Maybe you need an extended amount of time. So automatic weekly repayment. You would pay the draw funds via an automatic weekly payment, which covers the principal plus the interest. As I said earlier, principal and the interest on that 10K example, and we'll move into that in a little bit. You can repay or prepay, excuse me, with 0 penalties plus big savings. So no penalties on all that, right? We won't charge you anything. New draws and revolving limit. Draw more money when you need, up to the approval amount that you've been given. Your weekly payment is adjusted to cover repayment on the new balance. As you pay back, those funds become available again for you to use. And we'll go into the application and what to expect. Qualification, it's simple. Do you qualify? You have to have 1+ year in business. So that's what we look at on the minimum. And if you're not already in that range, don't worry. I'm going to go in through some alternatives, especially if you're not located in the US. Like it says here, anywhere in the US, what are some options? A 550 plus personal FICO credit score. That's very minimal. 15K plus monthly revenue. Not doing 15K plus per month. You can try our working capital at advance. And if you haven't been in business more than at least 1 year plus, you can try our working capital. Like if we click this right here, and I'll have this all down below so you can get started with the line of credit. This is where you can go. Something like up to 25,000 a day would be a lot. Would it help you? Would it help you pick yourself back up again? It may not be always what you want, but it is going to serve a greater purpose in the long run. And so if you'd like to get same day instant approval service with just 5,000 plus monthly in bank revenue coming in and a few other qualifications in there, then look up this down below in the description with Bank Breezy, and you can even see the other one with the up to 2 million that we can offer with DAC, which is this up to 2 million. So let me come back to the LOC here. And at any point, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please send them my way. I'm more than happy to hear from you. And again, fill out that funding form if you haven't. That'll be the quickest way to get a hold of me. I'll leave my email down there and a bit more information. But let's continue moving. So 1 year in business, as I said, anywhere in the US, 550 plus personal FICO credit score, 15K plus monthly revenue. That's just for DAC here alone. So if in business less than 2 years or your business resides in New Jersey, California, Rhode Island, Nevada, Vermont, Montana, then your FICO score must be 600 plus. Qualification is also based on other criteria, including but not limited to these right here. Financial strength of your business, average daily balance, number of NSFs, etc. So listen, I know it sounds all exciting and everything, and I know you're thinking like myself on the back of your mind, great, but will I even get qualified? I mean, I have this low bank balance. I don't know if my bank statements look good. I'm withdrawing too much. Cash flow isn't great. I'm not up on the revenue projection. Listen, if we look at those last 3 months, we're going to want to see some type of a consistency. Even if you don't have consistency, we'll still take that into account and see how much you can qualify for. So it is worth your time just checking. Doesn't hurt, especially with the soft pull, but we do see those things just like with the working capital lump sum is what's to be expected. So let me see, we click here on get qualified now. And then just as I said earlier, the benefits, credit lines from 5,000 to 100,000 to draw from at your convenience. So you can have more than enough funding at your fingertips, use them as you choose, which means you'll have a lot of flexibility and be more happier at the end of the day because, you know, you don't have to get a lump sum that you have to return within an 8 month, 9 month, 6 months, maybe 18 months. And that's still a lot of time, but you're like, well, I don't need it all up at once. So easy to understand draw fees, balance fees when drawing funds or maintaining a balance owed. No prepayment penalties, plus big savings when you pay it off early. No collateral whatsoever is required. You don't have to worry about that like going through a traditional bank. Qualification requirements, just 15,000 plus monthly revenue each of the last 3 months. 550 plus owner's FICO score, and that's the FICO, okay? 1+ years in business. And if you're questioning, what about business credit? So it's important to have business credit when you go through business lines of credit. For one, it can be reported to the credit bureau. Most of the time it's done in Bradstreet. It can probably be reported to another one. So if you haven't built any of this up and you need help with building business credit the right way, look for my free video series, my training down below in the description. Pick it up for free. It won't hurt you. Just look through it. And I go through it diligently and I show you the foundations, what to go and do, how to set up your Dun & Bradstreet, how to do things with Experian, Equifax, things you didn't know of. Other people are not showing you. This is stuff you want to learn, how to build trade lines, how to get these vendor programs, start reporting these trade lines, how many you need. It all goes a long ways for not only business lines of credit, but also like personal loans, startup loans, all these different types of ways you can look at it. But if you don't have all of that in store, again, look down below where I can help you get that set up and make sure it's at least registered and everything is in place. And if you don't want anything reporting to the business credit, it's okay. I get you. We've all been there. Maybe you have nothing to show for and you need help, then refer also to the business capital with DAC. The up to 25,000 or the up to 2 million program is a great one because those are reported to the credit bureaus. You don't have to worry about any of that, or it doesn't have to go through it at all. So if you have been in business less than 2 years or you reside in New Jersey, we'll just say what we said earlier in those states, your minimum FICO score must be 600 plus. If you do not qualify at this time, you can apply for our working capital advances here. And then there's going to be a little link. Click there. And if it's over 15K, it'll bring you to the other page, as I kind of said earlier. So please pay close attention to this. I have a lot of people who still fill out applications who do not read any of this. And if it is a little hard for you to read, maybe there's a language barrier there, please ask me. And, don't feel afraid. Don't feel shy. We all go through these things. So by completing this form, you agree that we can contact you at the phone number or numbers and email address provided to discuss LOC terms, LOC, not LLC. This contract may include text, or this contact may include text messaging. Providing a mobile number is not a condition of approval. So you heard that right there. This form must be completed only by the business owner. I know a lot of people are like, well, if I give you this, can you do it for me? Maybe I'll pay you something. No, it's like, I can't do any of that. I've had people ask me that. We have to have you do it. So how much line of credit are you seeking? And there's no qualification amounts are based on several criteria. Just read through this. And then average monthly sales, put that in there. Time in business. And it says here, must exceed 15,000 to apply for a line of credit. If your sales do not exceed that, try our Bank Breezy working capital process requiring only 5K per month in sales. So pretty straightforward. And there's a little link there you can click. Time in business. If not in business, at least for a year, please apply for our working capital advance. And then there's some things there. And then my just referring information will be down there. And if it's not listed there, you get to see there. Okay, you take a little snapshot if need be, but you don't have to fill that information in for the most part. It should just appear there. But if you come from an external site or somewhere else, maybe usually from like an ad or something, then that might be the case. But you get to see, let's go up here into this post. I already spoke to you about this more or less, what a business line of credit is, how it's revolving, soft pulls, simple to understand, draw and fee balance fees. Requirements, we went into that. Additional details, revolving line example, you use 10,000 of the 30,000 you were probably approved for and you pay it off. It goes back into your account and replenishes back to that 30K. You pay a draw fee and a balance fee. As you take money, you pay a fee. And as you have a balance that you haven't paid off every week, you pay an interest charge on that balance. So the longer you hold it, the more it will cost you. So it probably benefits you to pay it off as fast as possible. And usually the longer time you have, the better. So 0 to 3% draw fees. Usually it's 3%, but some other lenders will work with you and have a 0 draw fees, but you pay a monthly fee of $20 per month. So it can vary. So those who get a draw fee, and draw fees can vary. If it's, we say 0 to 3%, 3% can go even more. Just know that this isn't a traditional bank. Maybe it isn't completely always an online bank. So there are other providers out there, which again, I'm going to be getting into some of these alternatives in a moment. But this is a very amazing solution to come to. I would keep this as your number one focus, especially when you get solutions for working capital that are generally 50% less expensive, and there's so many more benefits. So you pay a monthly fee of $20 per month, so it can vary. And again, on the withdraw, usually it's like, these act kind of like a bridge loan. So sometimes you might need it only for a month, or maybe you just need something for like the next 2 months, right? And you're good to go. You're like, I don't need this anymore. And that's what a lot of people tend to do with business lines of credit. It's like, oh, it's just a little bridge loan, and not a complete bridge loan, but it's like, I just need it for this, and then I'm going to pay it off, and I don't need it all the time, which is fine. And then if you're doing the $20 per month, that would make sense because you're going to be using it for an extended period is what you're looking at doing. So balance fee example, let's say you have 50,000 business line of credit and you take out 10K each week. You'll get charged a percentage. Let's say it's 3/4 of a 1% per week. So you take out 10K at 3/4 of a 1% equals $75. You pay this week to have that money out. If you pay it all next week, it only costs you $75, right? But if you hold it longer, then you'll be getting charged next week and another amount. It might not be just 75, it could be a little bit more. So whatever your balance is, it's whatever your balance is times the 3/4 of the 1% for this example. So maybe next week it's $75 again, could be a little bit more or less. So you get a weekly payment. That's how this is, weekly payments. And I probably should address that a little bit earlier, but now that we're here, you know, with the working capital lump sum with David Allen Capital, if you've been hearing me for some time, these are usually daily, sometimes weekly. Depends on how you apply, and usually you have to have stronger revenue and stronger funding details to get approved for weekly payments. We might be able to look at that with some things in how you get how you would apply. But those for the working capital lump sum are usually daily, and you work your way in. It's like anything else. To build trust, you have to be able to prove that you can pay off 50% of that lump sum. Then we can probably refinance and give you more. And then approve you for better terms, better rates, longer terms, lesser rates, more amounts. That's how like usually the daily/weekly side of the equation works. And those are amazing too. So don't disregard that. That's also a great way to go. So weekly payments usually off within 6, 9, or 12 months. As I said, let me put this here. I kind of made some changes just recently because this has been, as you're watching this recently, what do you call it? Has been recently added to the David Allen Capital platform. So if you take 10K from your total 50K, what would the payment be to pay it all back in 12 months? That's what we calculate, and that's what we're asking ourselves. So let's say it's a $300 per week payment, but it can be any. It doesn't have to be. It can be 500 or 600. If you pay it every week in 1 year, that's 10K will be paid off with interest. And if you pay it off early, there is no penalty, and you save big. So your payment, that's minimum payment here must be paid every week. It's a weekly auto payment, but you are not only restricted to only pay that. You can pay it down and save a bunch of interest. You're only paying a balance fee while you have the balance. Longer terms can keep your payment down. So that's why I said earlier, like longer term would be best. That's what most people want because it keeps your payments at bay. And I know some of you guys are thinking like, how can I get even if on a daily lump sum? I've had people asking me like they want, you know, the minimum per day. Like I only want $100, 120, 130, 110. And we look at the funding criteria and we go, well, I know you don't necessarily want these daily payments, but that's what you can only get, or that's what's on the table because you haven't proven anything. And I know a weekly payment would help so many of you because of cash flow. And this is why business line of credits exist. It can work just as well as working capital, but you might need it for those purposes. And so you're like, well, if I do all the math right, and I'm going to help you with this stuff, I don't have your funding criteria unless if I did, I could give you more information. That's why you fill out that form down below. I'll list you not only this option, but so many other ones. And we're like, okay, well, 110 per day, and like that doesn't exist with your FICO, your revenue, time in business, and even with all that said, it's like we cannot. That's why you're looking at sometimes a $200 plus payment. It's just the way it works. And if your cash flow doesn't permit that on a daily basis, then we look at something weekly and we can try to work in that direction. But again, everybody's in a different position. So somebody might say, hey, that doesn't matter. Even if the daily payment looks a little high, even if it is low, it's not like I need to worry. My cash flow is fine, or I'm in a position revenue wise stable, or I'm going to increase my profits by taking what I get. The benefit exceeds the repayment. So longer terms can keep your payment down. Prepayment saves you big time auto weekly payments, as I mentioned. Interest is balance fee times your balance. For example, 10,000 on a 1% equals $100 every month. As I said earlier, already in this. I think I've covered everything. Let me look through some of my notes really quickly here just to make sure I hadn't. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of this, 52 weeks in the month. If it's less than the 6 months, then we can do a different calculation. But for 52 months, 52 weeks, excuse me, and we do the 10,000 plus the interest, maybe it's 13,000 divided by those 52 weeks, that would calculate what you'd be paying on a weekly basis. Maybe it's 280, right? We do 280 and then continuously pay it. And then you're like, well, I don't want to pay another 280 this month. I just want to pay it all off. So you pay the rest of that initial principal and you save on interest, right? Initial principal, as we spoke about earlier. And that's basically what I have here on my notes. Let me see if I missed anything. And again, all this will be down below in the description. So make sure you guys refer to it. Interest balance fee times the balance. And I made that already a case here. And yeah, that pretty much covers everything. And if there's something that I did miss, we can communicate about that and speak more about it and see how I can help you and run some numbers for you. But the best way when I give you projections, it's not in final. So if I give you an example, it's not in final. The best way to do this is to apply, because it's a soft pull, it won't hurt, and you can get started with them. And again, all other information on David Allen Capital and their other programs, you can go down below, look it up. But this is it right here, and I go through it in the other videos and the other pieces of content. But the blog here usually has the most updated version of them all. If I haven't come out with a full video yet on David Allen Capital with the business line of credit, perhaps it'll be ready in sometime. But yeah, refer to this post if you can. I'll leave it down below if you would like to learn more about everything else, as well as the videos. And in case anything that I missed out, and if you'd like to pick up a free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist to show you what you must know before you walk into an application with 110% confidence and certainty that you will be approved without wasting days, weeks, months, and even years of sifting through outdated, scammy, fluff, theory-based information. Pick this up. If you have already, great. If you haven't filled out a funding form and you've been watching me for some time, this will be, again, one of the fastest ways to get help. And for all other resources, please refer to the content down below in the description and get your business line of credit application in. Again, it won't hurt to get started and see what we can approve you for. But that should cover everything. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click the bell notification icon so you do not miss any future videos I come out with. Thank you. Bye.